Dance to my rhythm, helipad letting me land with the lyrics. Do you think they understand that the man's in the middle, spitting riddles in the valleys of the pans and the griddles? As I march from the grand old Duke I was raised under, and the thunder on my can't stop, won't. No gain, no wonder. Ripping up the band-aid, sticking on my hands, made the strips that remain. Filter from the land, gain, kilter steady and I stand. Pray don't link it in my black weight.
Welcome to the Indie Tea Talk podcast. I'm Adam and this is Kitty, your host for a journey into indie music across the north of England. Tune in as we explore unique melodies, chat with talented artists and create a space where you can discover your favourite music like never before. Also, if you're new to Indie Tea Talk, please show your support by hitting that subscribe button. It's a massive help to us and also the amazing artists that we try and support. Today on Indie Tea Talk, we're sitting down with the versatile and creative Gilly The Kid. Born in York and now based in London, Gilly started out writing poetry and lyrics, quickly diving into the world of hip-hop. He's earned shout-outs from the likes of BBC Radio 1's Jess Izzat and performed at numerous events including Welcome to the North, hosted by Jericho Keys and the Young Thug Studio. But Gilly's talents don't stop at music. He's also the founder of his very own clothing brand, Gibral. Join us as we chat about his musical journey, the inspirations behind his music, and how he blends personal experience with extensive influences to create his unique sound. So, please give a warm welcome to Gilly The Kid.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. We've had a bit of a stormy day and some disturbances, but overall, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to having a chat with you and seeing what Gilly The Kid's all about.
Likewise.
So you've travelled quite a far way today, up from London. Is it right that you moved from York to London for a free bed?
That's right.
How has it shifted your influences and music creativity by living in London? Well,
first off, I moved in with my uncle who has spent his life working with music, and so his influence was the most immediate influence because he could actually teach me, I wouldn't call it music theory, but he could actually teach me some good concrete advice about how to construct songs and just how to make a bit more of a rigorous piece of music rather than just my kind of bedroom creations.
Right.
So that was the first influence, I guess. And then it's inevitable that you end up absorbing the culture around you. So then with time, I started to become influenced by the London scene of drill music, hip hop, R&B, and various rock music as well.
Right.
So I'd say immediately it was my uncle who I moved in with, and then subsequently it was the culture around me that took a little bit of time to sink in.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
How have you found the scene in London?
It's obviously thriving because it's London, and it's almost so much of it that you could almost be overwhelmed by it.
Yeah,
right.
It's so vast.
And because there's so much variety, it's almost hard to pin down in words what the London music scene's like.
Yeah, because there's so
it's
much.
It's kind of like saying, what's the ocean like?
Yeah.
It depends where you are and what pocket you're in. So
I like that.
It depends, I guess, the social circles you're in and the people you know. London has so many faces. So, like I said, the social circles you're in will dictate the kind of vibe you're getting from the music scene.
Did you move down knowing quite a few people down there already, or have you kind of had to break into that, like find the social circle as well?
I went into London completely without really any contacts or network. And so it has been building from the ground up. But it's amazing how vast the music scene feels, but how quickly you can get connected is actually quite astounding because you end up meeting people, and then you find out randomly one day that they know each other.
Yeah.
Two different people who you met in different circumstances know each other.
It kind of snowballs
quite well, and before you ever met them, they'd been working together and things like that. So it's, for how vast it is, it's actually
It's also
extremely
still quite
well connected.
Closely knit. Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it, that even in such a big city, you do find weird coincidences like that.
Well, speaking of working with each other before, you've actually worked with Kitty quite a bit in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So how did that collaboration come together, and what was your approach to working with other artists when you're collaborating, I suppose?
Yeah, well, I guess when you're starting from a very minimal network, you start with who you already know. And I've known Kitty my entire life, so it was a bit of a no-brainer to eventually contact her and see if she wanted to get involved with the music that I was making, and she was more than willing. So there wasn't really any coming together. It was just it was very seamless,
like natural.
It was just two friends getting together and doing something fun.
It was a really fun day at the studio, actually.
How did you find it then? Yeah,
I loved it. I loved
because it's somewhat out of your usual remit.
It's different to what I'd usually do. This year, a lot for me has been about collaboration and working on stuff that challenges me and things like that. So I really enjoyed doing that with Gilly, and how the song actually adapted between us as well. Because when I sent Gilly the first voice memo of me singing on it, he actually went, "Oh, that takes the song in kind of a more chill route, so I think I kind of want to play it down a little bit." And so it kind of adapted to both our styles in its own way. But yeah, I loved it.
So you've had shout outs from Jess on BBC Radio 1 and performed at Welcome to the North, like we mentioned before. How do these opportunities impact your career, and what do they mean to you as an artist?
What it means to me is something I'm still unsure of, because the reason I do music in the first place is just because I enjoy doing it, and so it's a weird spanner in the works, because it's not at the core of it. It's not what it's about.
Right. Yeah.
So then you have to figure out, what's my relationship going to be with these occasions where people are pushing you out into the world.
Or just stages of recognition.
Right, because on the one hand, music's made to be enjoyed and it's made to be shared, and so the more people that it can be that can enjoy it, the better. But on the other hand, it carries with it all the connotations of your own ideas of your career, your future, and what direction you want to go in. And when the further you push the boat out, the more trepidatious you can feel about it, and unsure about how things can pan out and things like that. But so far, it's not been something I've had to wrestle with that much. I have a very kind of I don't want to say laissez-faire, but like I'll give it to any and every radio, and if they play it, I'll be great.
Yeah, that's a good approach to have, actually.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like the like you were saying then, it's like the micro sort of thing, like where you, on a small scale, it's just about the love, and then on a larger scale you think, oh, actually people are going to interact with it. And it's not always how you expect it to be interacted with, that can sometimes throw curveballs, and that's quite fun.
Absolutely.
I like it.
You tend to write about personal experiences in your songs. How do you kind of strike the balance between oversharing and storytelling to mould your writing?
The way I think about it when I write is I'm trying to write something meaningful. I believe that if something is meaningful and can have a benefit on somebody's life, or maybe an issue somebody is dealing with, even if it's just a mental thing, can you overshare?
No, I was gonna, as I said that, I was like, not between oversharing, but by still making it impactful and open to interpretation. Because I think your lyrics, you have a really good balance between, yes, you're telling a personal story, but at the same time, you do leave it quite open to interpretation, and a lot of it's quite metaphorical, or and I it's just an interesting balance that you are such a storyteller, but at the same time, there's still this kind of, I don't know, this kind of
cryptic almost.
Yeah, it's slightly cryptic, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I do want to make it open for interpretation in that regard, because I don't want to force the listeners to understand it in a particular way. I want to give some freedom to the listeners to decide how they want to understand the lyrics. A rapper who kind of championed that was MF Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom.
And he was so cryptic that you would listen to it and you wouldn't get everything he was saying, but you would get the parts that randomly resonated with you, because he would hit on something where there was a connection to some sort of contextual.
The production element of a lot of MF Doom stuff was so clever, with his like certain impactful lines or snippets that he might say. The production was really clever around that as well, to have an impact. And I think a lot of that is also shown in your music, of like, you make a line stand out if you want to make it stand out, and that's the impact.
It also allows for longevity, because if the meaning of the lyrics is very, very blatant, then once somebody understands the meaning, if they change or grow as a person, they may their feelings may change towards the song. However, a song that has an element of mystery provides for the person to change how they feel about the song and still enjoy the song, because they can
one thing and that be it.
They can mold it as their perceptions and their paradigms shift.
What a beautiful concept that is. I've never considered that, and I think that is amazing. I love that. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Well, moving from music to clothing. You've also launched your own clothing brand, Jibril. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Jibril. I don't mind. You can say Jibril. You can say Jibril. You can say Jibril. They're all very similar, to be honest.
Yeah.
I say Jibril.
Jibril. How did fashion connect with music, and what's your vision for the brand moving forward?
I guess fashion connects with music.
Or with your music,
because,
particularly?
Yes. Well, fashion actually came first. Before I started making music, I was really into fashion, and I actually wanted to be a fashion designer before I even made a song.
Right.
I think it's just the way my brain works. There's a couple things that I really enjoy. One was just linguistics and writing, and the other one is aesthetics, which comes into play when I make music videos. I love getting nice angles and shots when I make music videos, and as you grow up, you're trying to find yourself a little bit, and as somebody who's interested in aesthetics, when finding yourself, the way you want to present yourself in the world becomes a point of significance. And so it was just natural for me that clothing and fashion was really interesting, and I just liked the way that the conduit for creativity that provided for me. It was one of the more major conduits of creativity for me before I had the guts to make a song or something like that, which was the next major conduit.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So, it's time for my favourite question. If your music, or I suppose your clothing brand, were a flavour of tea, what would it be and why?
I want to say, what I'm going to say is matcha.
Matcha.
Because I drink matcha every day, and
He actually walked through the door with the matcha today.
and it was my second.
And it was his
cup.
second of the day.
Now,
So the reason I say matcha is purely because my music is a piece of me, and drinking matcha every day is also a piece of me. So it's just it's an obvious jump. But if I was to kind of break it down, I guess I used to be a big coffee drinker. I work for a company that is a specialist coffee company. So I was a big coffee drinker, and they started introducing matcha into the range, and I tried it. And at first I was unsure, as all coffee drinkers are, of matcha drinkers. It's always skepticism. But I looked into it because I didn't understand why people were drinking it initially. And then I looked into it and I discovered all the amazing benefits it has. And I eventually got accustomed to the taste. And I just found that I felt better on it than coffee. And I'm a person who likes to do a lot of stuff, I guess. So being caffeinated, I don't like to overdo it, but being caffeinated helps massively. I like to be charged up and like to seize the day, I guess.
Seize the day.
So I wanted to use it in that way, and it just felt it felt better when I was drinking matcha. It felt better, and so like I would always have a matcha before going into the studio and things like that. So, I guess you could say the deepest way it's connected is nearly all the songs that I've made, I've had a matcha prior to making it. So
amazing. Right, so we're going to jump into your first live session. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to play?
Yeah, this song is called Anyway, and it's got to be one of my favourite songs that I've made. It's one that is very easily likable. Whenever I've shown it to people, it's been one that they like the vibe of it.
Yeah, it's got a real flow. Like as soon as you hit play, it's got a real flow. Yeah,
so it's one that came together quite well, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
I was riding Northern Line, commuting across town, trying to see the silver lining on the edge of the frowns, challenging to see the skyline when you're underground. So somebody tell me why I'm still looking at the clouds. You don't know, don't you know? It's the season, you don't know, don't you know? They don't call it big smoke for no reason. Traveling to Neasden Temple, taking up a front seat at the feet of the steps. I can gaze at the good, at the evil and the blessed. Get it misunderstood, it might mess up your equal. Ibrahim, Enoch is Idris like Abe is Ibrahim. Wanna be deceived, bring the keyboard, the bells and the whistles in. Play it for the people, you don't play it for the citizen. Play play it for the people, you don't play it for the citizen. Anyway, no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, anyway, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Any day, play it for the people, you don't play it for the citizen. Anyway, no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, anyway, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Any day. What's the crack? I'm pretty knackered, feel like I should lay down in the class and with the master. They don't need to say how it really is, isn't how it's made out. Your hustle happens inside an adult playground. Eat your fruit, drink your liters, you'll be glowing, flowing free. What even think to use the heater? You can take that how you wish, take all of it how it sits. They say live and let them live, live and let them fly, live and let them sing, live and let them ride out, live and let them spin, let them flip, throw the magic in the wind. Magic of the essence bubbles underneath the skin. That's why it don't matter if you're blue or if you're pink. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, white and brown. Put your hands in the air, time to be together now. Looking for the space to fill it up with your power. Genius in the tower, let it out for an hour. Scouring the market for a drought of the flowers. Set the desert aflame in the name of the face. Behind the sweet and the sour, bittersweet, figured these. Sitting in city streets, sipping tea, call it cities and praying for the people, you're not praying for the citizen. Praying for the people, you're not praying for the citizen. Anyway, ain't no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Any day, play it for the people, you're not playing for the citizen. Anyway, no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Play it for the people, you're not playing for the citizen. Anyway, no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Any day, play it for the people, you're not playing for the citizen. Anyway, no playing in a legion. Anyway, when we get into the evening, you can see the sun if you're reaching. Any day.
So what are some of your influences when it comes to writing songs? How do you learn from artists that you take influences from but then still create your own unique sound?
So the way it worked initially was really when I was still discovering the timeline of hip hop and rap music, and there was a lot of sounds I hadn't tapped into when I was my teenage years were pretty much like solely hip hop music. I was obsessed and I was constantly listening to it, and I was really just working my way through the chronology of it. And, and so every time I heard a new sound, a new cadence, a new flow, it just kind of, I was like, whoa. And I've never heard somebody rap like this. It's a whole new way of doing it. And so it would almost just like embed itself deeply into my brain. And so when it would be in my head constantly upon hearing it, and I'd just be listening to the song on repeat. And so when I would get an idea for even just a few lines, that would be the flow that it would
you'd
come
already
out as.
know.
And so and so the way the songs sounded and the way they were delivered was primarily influenced by all the different artists I was discovering.
Mm-hmm. And who are some of those? Who are your top dogs?
Yeah, so it's there's been evolution. Definitely Kendrick Lamar, which is an obvious one, and nearly every lyricist is going to say Kendrick Lamar.
Although it's an obvious one, though, it's one that you can't not
deny.
mention. Yeah. It's such a poignant.
Yeah.
So I loved nowadays a lot of what I do is because I've heard so much rap music now, I actually prefer, when it comes to writing, prefer to read lyrics rather than listen. Because I think I was listening more when I was still trying to find my sound, and now that I have a sense of my sound, it's more the conceptual element that I search for. So I actually read lyrics much more, and Kendrick Lamar is someone whose lyrics very rich in ideas, and there's layers to them. And, so definitely Kendrick Lamar, but JID, who's actually a newer artist in the more contemporary.
I've not listened to a lot of JID actually.
He has a very skippy, intricate flow, and I just, as soon as I heard that, I was just like, his song "Off the Zoinkies" is still one of my favorite rap songs of all time. It's he just has such a smooth and but it's kind of nasally at the same time. He has a unique voice, but I loved that. So I'd say JID. I'd say Denzel Curry is another contemporary giant in today's rap world, and who is so creative, but and so eccentric in his sound and his aesthetics. That actually, working off people with more eccentricism allowed me to develop my own sense of confidence, because when you don't have your own sound, it's hard to be confident. And so when you work off the framework of somebody else who's already figured that out, it's kind of like a stepping stone to your own.
And they are all people who, they do have such a unique sound, and you would know it's them because of that. And I guess that's maybe how you've formed that around yourself, that if I hear a song of yours, as soon as you come in, I know that it's Gilly the Kid. You formed your own sound from that. That's really cool.
So you mentioned earlier on about your videography work on your socials. How do you find working in this different domain? Again, I suppose it's kind of filters on from fashion to music to video. It's all the aesthetics and different perspectives. So I imagine it comes quite naturally to you.
Yeah, I'd say so. I've always felt like I have what I could only describe as a creative vision, which has many elements, and it's aesthetic, it's sonic, and it's instinctual. And so I like just being in the middle of creative projects, and I guess I just have it's not like an intellectual thing. If I'm working on something creative, then it's like the way Rick Rubin describes it is, if you have two pieces of food and you taste one and you taste the other, you know which one you prefer the taste of. It's not a logical thing, it's a feeling, and so it's like I prefer the way this one tastes more, so I want more of this, and so I guess it's kind of it feels like that no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm making clothes, recording a music video, writing a song, or writing a piece of poetry. It's just an instinct, and I think it just all ties into my creative vision, and whether it just feels right or wrong.
Yeah, like it's your gut instinct. Always.
Yeah, I like that, because I see things like that in the way that I do, like when I'm trying to set up the studio or whatever. I don't know why, but I'll move something, I'll be like, yeah, that's right.
And you don't know why it's right.
Don't know why it's right.
Is.
I don't know what I've changed really. Like I might have only moved it fraction of an inch, but I'm like, right, that's where it needs to be. And then you walk away from it, I'm like, and if I'd have not, it'd have caught my eye all day. And like you say, you can't always put your finger on what it is. But yeah, no, I like that. So is that from his creativity book? Is it The Art of Creativity?
Yeah, my brother received it as a gift recently, and whenever I've seen a clip or anything from Rick Rubin, he's always saying something profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was interested to see what was in it, and according to my brother Gabe, it's a book you can just dip into anywhere along.
Right.
And there's just gems of wisdom in there, specifically for creatives. But there's a lot of great life advice in there as well. But that was one of the things that really resonated with me is when I'm in the studio, I will feel in my gut, and I almost do feel it in my gut.
Yeah.
There's either a tightness or there's a relaxation, and so I know physically when I've had a good day in the studio and I've had enough of both to know the difference.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll walk out of there and I'll be like, yeah, this feels good, and then sometimes I'll walk out and I'll be like, this feels bad.
Yeah, it's amazing that you have that control to know that off the bat, though, because it's quite easy to, leave a studio day and feel amazing and then listen back to it and be like, oh no, that's not the sound I was going for. But you have always been so true to, like you say, that vision that you have.
So, is it true that you used to play the drums?
That is true, yeah.
Do you still play them now?
No, I don't. But it was very, very important for me because for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it's the way I found hip hop.
Right.
My hip hop has a very traditionally very basic drum patterns, and when learning the drums, you learn the basic drum patterns first. So the first drum teacher I ever had was called Danny, and I used to. He was still young at the time. I think it was just before going to uni, and he was doing drum lessons in his bedroom at his mum and dad's house. And so I would go, and one of the ways that he taught me basic drum patterns was he gave me a hip hop CD, and I've always wanted to. For the life of me, I can't remember which CD it was. I can remember vaguely what it looked like, but I'd love to find it again. But the only way that's going to happen is by chance, I think. But that's the first way drums was really impactful. Was it set me off on the whole journey.
Amazing.
And I guess the second one was I just had a lot of energy as a kid, and it was just a good way for me to release that energy. I have other means of doing that now because I found that it was a good thing initially, but it wasn't. It didn't resonate with me on the deepest level.
Yeah.
Like things that I've discovered now, but it set me off on a path.
I also guess it's an integral part of learning your rhythm and your groove, and the drums are really good for that. I wish that I would have learnt drums as a kid just to have that such a strong rhythmic flow and that
internal clock almost.
Yeah, I was going to say that internal metronome in your head that runs eternally. Yeah. And I guess that's quite a good base if you're going to go into something quite poetic or spoken word or rap or whatever it be. It's quite easy to then fall into a flow. And
it's quite fun to just hit stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. So what's next for you and for Jubril? Any new music or exciting projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, so the two of the songs I'm performing today are yet to be released. The next song I'll be performing is already out, which anybody can access on Spotify, Apple Music. But I have a lineup of tracks coming out, music video, and I've got some more content for Instagram and things like that. So I have an archive, kind of ready to go. I've got a full barrel, which is a nice feeling. And so I guess I'm in a stage of strategizing and planning the way that I want to roll these things out.
The calm before the storm.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So you spoke about your next live track. Do you wanna let us know what that is, and then we'll jump into it?
Yeah, this was one of my more triumphant studio sessions, I'd say.
Good gut day.
Good.
Probably
day.
the best studio session I've ever had.
Oh wow.
It was. I always prefer studio sessions in the summer because when the sun's out and you're warm, I think it just the creative flow, I feel like, is just more available to me, and so it was a really nice summer day across England, because I was traveling from London to Leeds, and it was sunny the whole train journey up, and I had an idea ready for Beck, my producer, and I couldn't wait. I'd been just waiting to use this idea, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not, and we put it together and we pressed play, and we just both looked at each other and we were just like,
That's the one.
This is something that you haven't heard before, and it had just a feel of bounciness and energy that it was actually better than what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so that I left and I sent it to all my close friends and family who I like to use as guinea pigs.
Yeah.
And I was just like so excited to show people, and I guess whenever it plays, I kind of revisit those feelings.
Yeah. Well, you've got me excited. So shall we give it a go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
My rhythm helipad letting me land with the lyrics. Do you think they understand that the man's in the middle, spitting riddles in the valleys of the pans and the griddles? As I march from the grand old Duke I was raised under, and the thunder on my can't stop won't. No gain, no wonder. Ripping up the band-aid, sticking on my hands, made the strips that remain. Filter from the land, gain, kilter steady, and I stand. Pray don't link it in my black weight, gripping on a lad's lace, stinging at the man's face, grinning cause he's winning. And the thing is that I slip up when I lack grace. They wanna dance to my rhythm, helipad letting me land with the lyrics. Do you think they understand that the man's in the middle, spitting riddles in the valleys of the pans and the griddles? As I march from the grand old Duke I was raised under, and the thunder on my can't stop won't. No gain, no wonder. As the brother said, we're all alone in this together as ever. Another dead, another soul is here to settle attention. Them brothers rapping, they know how to use the letters even better. They can speak for themselves. Me, myself, inside this heaven and hell. I'm on my ones, not for long. All the same inside this clever little shell. Bit of a shame, cause I can smell all of the bullshit I can smell. Sin sinner, who took the peace from the inner? I am that I am, I'm the man in your mirror. Lucky baby blue with my cinnamon glitter. Watch and don't break from the people in the middle. Only God knows what we got in store, but we both talk about my pocket walls. Hopping in my closet, hearing my rocket call on it all the time. So my son of ROI from another type of profit source. Thoughts of bending water in my proper form. Call it castle building, it don't hassle Gilly. Visionary kings within the fabric and living. That's where we stack the linen. You think I'm kidding, of course. They wanna dance to my rhythm, helipad letting me land with the lyrics. Do you think they understand that the man's in the middle, spitting riddles in the valleys of the pans and the griddles? As I march from the grand old Duke I was raised under, rhythm to the rain and the thunder on my can't stop won't. No pain, no gain, no wonder. Taking in my posture, trying to live the life you chose to foster. Darkness is within you, digging up the treasure and the ego discontinues. Before the ego dies it multiplies to huge proportion. Be cautious when performing cosmic forces. What's your superpower since you're in your super suit? Don't be stupid now, I see right through the excuse. True as amusement, see me cackle mad as scandal. These people acting better than Marlon Brando.
So we're coming to the last push on the podcast, the final stretch or the final straight. I'm struggling to find the right analogy. But we've got a couple of additional quick fire questions for you.
Sweet.
So if you could have one food item named after you, what would it be?
want to change sweet potato, but I don't know how that would work.
Sweet Gilly.
Yeah, maybe, or just Gilly potatoes, maybe.
Yeah.
Just because I eat them every day. They're delicious.
Oh, lovely.
I love that. What is your go-to I'm feeling lazy thing to watch or listen to?
That's a good one. I love podcasts. I'm a bit of a podcast addict, to be honest.
Me too.
There's one that I really like called Take Your Socks Off.
I haven't heard
And
of
it's
that.
it's a LA based comic. And I'm actually forgetting his name. He's really funny and LA based comic, but he has autism, and so everybody has to take their socks off as they enter. and
That would stress me out.
he's just
I hate having my feet out.
and sorry, take your shoes off.
Oh,
You've just made me.
I
You've just
prefer
made me
the socks. I think that's better. Just toes everywhere.
take your shoes off.
Maybe we should change Indie Tea Talk's name to Take Your Socks Off.
But yeah, that's just like I'm a big comedy fan, and so like I love to in my downtime when I get some, I love to laugh. So I'll watch something that's going to make me laugh.
Yeah,
so I like
that.
podcasts done by comics, and if there's a new special out by a comedian that I really like, then that'll be like the top of my list.
Nice.
So, would you rather always speak in rhyme or sing everything you say?
Off the bat, definitely rhyme.
I was going to say, that seems like an
Yeah, well, I was
obvious
just trying to catch you out. See what,
I would definitely rhyme, but I would.
you missed an opportunity then.
I feel like there could be a catch with the singing one because that would only work if you had a good voice.
He's secretly Adele over here.
Yeah,
Did you know
So you
that?
could be singing all the time, but you could be singing out of tune. So that could be terrible.
that doesn't stop a lot of people. So,
It's true, but it's going to stop me.
oh, amazing. So, how can we find your socials? Where have you got websites? Have you got social media
Yeah.
platform that you prefer, or?
Yeah. So Instagram is where I concentrate a lot of my content, things like freestyles and sneak peeks and just updates with my fan base and things like that. Primarily channeled through Instagram. But I will post things on TikTok and YouTube as well, just to spread it out just get it out there. Music videos are always posted on YouTube. My Instagram tag is a little bit
Everyone had already stolen.
complicated, so it's Gilly the Kid, but it's stretched out a little bit, so I think it's
I've got it written down here. Do you want me to tell you?
Go on.
It's GGILLYYY the Kid.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that was the best I could do.
If you look at it and squint, it actually looks like it says Gilly the Kid.
Oh, that's mint. Well, we'll put all that in the comment section, or not the comment section, the description section at the bottom.
Perfect.
So you can link straight through to those. And that kind of sums up today's episode of Indie Tea Talk. Thank you so much for coming all the way up here
thank you.
and
coming
across.
all the way from London.
I know,
It's
in
a
this
big
awful
effort.
weather as well. Like,
Yeah.
I love an adventure, so
I think it has been. So thanks again for giving up your time today to everyone that's joined us. And remember that you can follow Gilly the Kid on Instagram on GGILLYYY the Kid. And it's the same on TikTok. And you can get us on Indie Tea Talk, all one word with an underscore at the end on Instagram. Please do hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to us. It means that we can try and push this stuff out to more and more people. Who knows, someone might like it. But yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
Until next time. Cheers.
Peace.
Yeah.